Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just Saying. Two weeks in a row. Look at us go. I'm Shay, and as always, the other co-host here,
Jairus.
and
Woohoo!
we have a great show for you today. We're going to lead off with sports, specifically the NBA and the NCAA. You know, March Madness is going on. Everything's going mad. Leading off because we didn't talk about the NBA last week and we wanted to dive into some things. But also, you know, we have some discussions in the NFL because it's the off season. The draft is next month. We have NASCAR to go over because somebody in Hendricks Motorsports won. Woohoo! What else? Baseball opening day starts this Thursday. So when the podcast comes out, it'll be opening day, which is exciting. And little Daredevil episode 4 recap because I finally watched episode 4.
Yeah, let's go. We're going to get right into it. Starting off with a little recap of NBA standings, and we're going to take a look at the playoff picture.
That's right. So starting in the association. First off, in the Eastern Conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers still, just like they have all season long, hold first place at 57-14. But the Celtics have definitely made grounds over the last couple weeks. They're only 4.5 games behind now in second place after, I think, 8 or 9 a few weeks ago at 53-19. The Knicks, first and second, are miles away from third place. So there's not even a point of talking about games behind for them. But the Knicks are in third at 44-26. The Pacers 42-29 in fourth. Milwaukee's fifth. Detroit is sixth. And to round out the playoff picture, Atlanta's seventh, Orlando eighth, Chicago ninth, Miami
Still hanging on.
barely hanging on. They actually do have a few game lead right now over Toronto, so they could squeak, and I mean squeak, right into the playoffs. Officially in the Eastern Conference, though, the Washington Wizards, the worst team in basketball, and
For a long time.
and the Charlotte Hornets are
Also a long time.
eliminated. Moving to the Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder, now the best team in basketball by record at least, are in first. They have officially clinched their conference, actually, that's right. They clinched the Western Conference. The Celtics did clinch a playoff spot. The Cavaliers also did and clinched their division, but division doesn't really matter in basketball. So OKC leads the West at 59-12. Houston, then it's another mild jump from first to second. Houston, 13.5 games behind.
Wow.
In second at 46-26. Then the Nuggets in third, Lakers in fourth, Memphis in fifth, and Golden State in sixth. Then to round out the play-in, Clippers in seventh, Minnesota in eighth, Sacramento in ninth, and the Phoenix Suns in 10th. And officially eliminated thus far from the playoffs are the Utah Jazz and New Orleans Pelicans. So that is your standings and playoff update. About the Celtics real quick, I am happy that we have really been pushing towards that first place spot. The last few weeks, we have looked like, okay, we actually want to win, and we want to win on back-to-back championships. However, Jason Tatum did get hurt last night against the Sacramento Kings with an apparent ankle injury. It did not look good initially. However, Joe Mazzulla came out shortly after the game and said it is not expected to be serious and Tatum should not miss much time. Thank God, or the Lord, or whoever you believe in. Jairus, how are we feeling about the not the Cavs. Sorry, the Heat.
Well, we'll talk about the Heat in just a moment, but I want to give massive props to OKC. It is insane to clinch not only your division, but your entire conference this early before the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they clinched it a week ago, so it'd be like, I think 4 weeks before the playoffs start, which technically they don't have to play any of their starters for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's crazy. Obviously led by Shai Gilgeous Alexander. MVP frontrunner, Nikola Jokic is still in the conversation, obviously, along with a couple others. But yeah, they've been an absolute wagon. And Cleveland, I mean, kind of unexpected. I mean, they were expected to be probably a playoff team and pretty good this year, but I don't think anybody expected them to be just absolutely dominant like they have in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, so that leads into a little discussion that we both wanted to have. First off, about the Cleveland Cavaliers, because this is unexpected, as you said. They were projected by a lot of people to finish probably third in the East, but clearly that has not happened. They are in first place as they have been all year long, and if you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said they would finish first. But the Celtics, again, have made a big push to maybe get that first place seeding in the playoffs. So, why have the Cavaliers been so dominant? I thought
Why?
that was a really good question because I don't know. I don't know anything about the Cavaliers. They suck ass. No, I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
So I'm going to sit down right now and be the student as to why the Cleveland Cavaliers have been dominant this season. Pay attention, class.
I'm not writing on chalkboard because that would hurt my ears.
I might make that the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Just you. I'll Photoshop a picture of you in like a professor's outfit with the chalkboard background.
All right. So Professor Shea says to start off right now this season so far, all Cleveland Cavaliers starters are averaging above 12 points per game. They're all averaging above 44% field goal percentage, with Donovan Mitchell, their leading scorer, actually having the lowest field goal percentage at 44%. They're currently averaging first in the league in points per game, second in field goal percentage, as this is as a team, eighth in rebounds per game, and ninth in assists per game. So, what happened to lead to all this? Well, over the offseason, Donovan Mitchell signed a 3-year extension, making their superstar locked into Cleveland for a while. Kenny Atkinson was hired as their head coach and has had this team bought in all year, right from the jump. They've had two 15-game win streaks this year. As we talked about, I think, last week?
Yeah.
Evan Mobley, their young star, has taken a very progressive step forward, and the midseason addition of DeAndre Hunter has all fueled this dominance. The Cavs have checked all of the boxes this regular season. They've won big, 16 wins by 20-plus points this year, tied for league high with OKC. And they've won close, 22 clutch wins, second only to Houston, and 9 different players have led the team in scoring. The only remaining question is whether this regular season success will translate to the playoffs, which we'll get to in a moment. They've won 20 of their last 22 games. Their latest 15-game win streak had the team facing stiffer competition than their first 15-game win streak, more road games, and without their leader and scoring leader, Donovan Mitchell, due to injury for 4 of those 15 games. And they still won, and won by more per game than the previous 15-game winning streak. Now, they've also had some help with the rest of the Eastern Conference. Philly is having a disaster of a year. Orlando is dealing with awful injuries to their star players. And Miami, having the Jimmy Butler drama, has made to an unexpected weaker Eastern Conference to help the Cavs be so dominant.
That is true. You look at that playoff line in the play-in tournament, there was a steep fall off.
Exactly.
Between like 8th place and 9th and 10th.
Exactly. So the question is, can this translate into the playoffs where they have faltered the last couple of years? But not only that, can they beat Boston in the playoffs?
Well, as we all know, Boston is just a fucking machine. I could see the Cavs and the Celtics, that's going to be probably my favorite, you know, the favorites to get to the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think that'd be a fantastic series. Um,
Yeah.
I think Cleveland has all the tools to go on the run uh, to the conference finals, deep in the playoffs. Like you said, just been completely dominant, no matter if it's weaker competition or the tougher competition. Um, them having a weaker conference and that might have helped them out. I think that doesn't really matter. You play the games and the opponents that you're handed.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you
No
know,
one
as
predicted the
long as
East to
you,
be that
yeah,
either.
as long as you win the games. So really, you know, it sounds a lot cliche, but it's just going to all come down to experience. The Celtics have a lot of experience. They've had a lot of deep playoff runs over the last 3 or 4 years. They've obviously won the championship last year, so they know what it takes to win. And for the Cavs, if they get far and they exit early, I don't think that should be viewed as a disappointment. They like you said, they're going to have another 3 to 4 years at least of high level contention, and they still have young players that are coming up.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be a Celtics and Cleveland Eastern Conference Final. That's going to be a really good series. But I just until, and I'm not being biased here, until proven otherwise, I don't think any team, at least in the East, can beat the Celtics. Um, we did lose to them, I think, twice in the regular season. Um, but obviously, the regular season is much different than the playoffs. So I don't see them beating us in a 7 game series. I could see the series, though, going like 6, maybe 7 games. However, I I think they get to the conference final. They go deeper than they have since 2016 with LeBron. But I think they'll fall short. And I would hope that that would give Cleveland fans um, some happiness and some hope for the future because they've made it farther than they have since 2016. If they get to the conference finals, and they have a new coach that clearly worked, that was the right decision to move on from Brown and get Kenny Atkinson, and they like you said, they have all the tools there. So the future should be bright. But if they lose in the first or second round again, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, there'd definitely be some questions. Now, traditionally, the Cavaliers and the Celtics, how has that playoff history kind of went?
Um, I think last year we beat them in the second round, I believe. Um, but oh no, the first round. But traditionally, we haven't faced each other since LeBron was on the Cavs. So it's been a while. It's not like the Celtics and Heat over the last 5 or 6 years where they're always facing each other.
Yeah.
Um, but we haven't, besides last year, we haven't faced each other in a long time. So I don't know how it's going to go. When LeBron was there, the Cavs usually had the Celtics number. So, but that was a different team, different era, different time. Now the Celtics are a much different team, much better team. So I don't know. I just don't, like I said, until proven otherwise, I don't see us losing.
Yeah, I don't either. And I like how your quote of saying that the Celtics look like they want to win. And I just want to say, when your team is that good and at the top of the league for that long during a regular season, it can they can get kind of complacent. They're not as motivated, I guess, to win games like teams that are fighting for playoff spots
Well,
in
that's what
those
I think
last.
was happening in the middle of the season when we were
Yeah,
not like we
kind
were
of have
losing
those
10 straight
slumps.
games, but we would lose here and there. And I've been saying all year, I would like us to not lose as many games as we're losing. Like I'd want to see us win more, but now it's been clicking. So I think we're good now. We're back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so concerned. Every team obviously goes through their downbeats and their upbeats, but yeah, for those top teams, when you're like nowhere near falling off the playoff picture, it can be a little difficult to get up for those games. Especially in an 82 game season, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's the standings. Quite the picture. Obviously, the West definitely stronger in my opinion than the East, at least in terms of as a whole. There's
Yeah.
If you look at eighth through 10th, there is not that much of a drop off, and we're gonna get to the last place team in the East right now that is literally hanging on by a thread.
Yep.
Because we are now going to talk about my team, the Miami Heat, and I chose the Miami Heat because tonight is actually
As
the
of this
day.
recording,
Yep, is actually the day when Jimmy Butler makes his return to the Heat after
you're
being
losing.
traded.
You're losing.
Well, yeah. um, so the Butler trade, that was always the big narrative, pretty much the entire season. I'm sure for all the players in the locker room, it was a huge distraction. I could not imagine like the amount of animosity going around and just kind of they're probably just torn.
Negative vibes, man. Negative
Yeah,
vibes.
that can really really affect the team's chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more what people realize. But uh, trying to anticipate like what would happen after Butler was traded, if he was traded, it's not gotten better. It's gotten a lot worse. Since the Butler trade, the Miami Heat's record is 5-17.
I don't think that's good.
So we've won 5 out of our last 22 games, including what was just snapped in our last game, a 10-game losing streak, which is actually the longest losing streak since 2008 and ever under Eric Spoelstra, which is kind of crazy.
That's not good.
Yeah. Right now, our record sits at 30-41 overall, and we're 10th in the East. And the Chicago Bulls that are ninth, I still think what you just said. They're actually 8-2 in their last 10, so they are pulling away
Yep.
from the Heat right now.
Yep. Their their record. No, I'm just kidding. The Heat are a game and a half behind. But yeah, the Heat are 1-9 in last 10, and Bulls are 8-2.
Yeah. So you're looking at over the last 10, you can tell that there's starting to be a separation.
Oh yeah.
And Toronto can definitely catch up to us with the way we're playing. But a few stats here right now overall, and I want to look at some of the overall and also some of the numbers since Butler was traded. 109.2 points per game scored overall. That's 26th in the NBA. And it's actually dropped to 105.2 points per game since the trade.
Jeez.
16.3 field free throws made, which is 27th overall. About the same since the Butler trade. 3.8 blocks per game, which is 30th overall, dead last in the NBA. So some of the defense has not been there all season. 34.0 3-point percentage since the trade, which is down from 35.9% overall. 46.4 field goal percentage since the trade, and actually about the same since overall. For offensive rating, 112.0, which is 23rd overall. It's dropped to 111.2 since the trade. Defensive rating, 113.5, 12th overall, and it's actually dipped to 116.6 since the trade. And our net rating is negative 1.5, which is 19th overall. And for the defense, it's slipped, especially from deep. Since the Butler trade, we've allowed 38% from three, which is not good. And overall, like when it comes to clutch time, since the Butler trade, we have not been able to close out games. We've not been able to come back and win, especially in the fourth quarter. Uh, Throughout the entire team, the shooting, the efficiency is down across the board, and really it just shows. And with the Warriors, they've been rolling since the Butler trade. It just
Yeah.
shows that Butler doesn't need the Heat. The Heat need Butler.
Yeah. His play was never in question. It was just his attitude. And
As soon as he was traded, it was a completely different atmosphere, and I'm happy for the players for the locker room, but it does show that all the questions surrounding Butler, like is he getting old, is he falling off, are they're not true.
yeah. I have a question after all that because I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm a Celtics fan, but it's not good for Heat fans. This collapse, of course, a lot of it is around Jimmy Butler and even Pat Riley. However, how much of the blame should Eric Spoelstra get? He is a Hall of Fame coach for sure. He's been with the Heat forever. Obviously, he won multiple championships with the Heat and led them to multiple championships. I'll give you my answer after I hear yours because I want to hear yours first. But how much, if any, is this season, this collapse of a season, on Eric Spoelstra?
I don't really think it's on Eric Spoelstra. I mean, if there really was that much of a rift, and we don't really know the answer, but if there was that much of a rift, especially if we knew it in the off season, there probably should have been an off season trade of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I think with Spoelstra, just you keep him and then see how next season goes. Because you still got the off season, right? You try to maybe get some more pieces for like all the players like Harrow, Bam, Wiggins. Now we have good solid players. Like we have a good roster of solid players, and Wiggins actually dropped, I believe, a career high in the last game with 42 points. So
Mm-hmm.
that was cool to see. Um, but now we lack that superstar talent,
Yeah.
and there's not really a focal point of the offense anymore.
Yeah, like Hero or Bam hasn't stepped up to fill that void.
Yeah. So again, keep Spolstra throughout the rest of the season. Try to rearm in the off season, and then see how next season goes. But if next season doesn't start out great, I would not be surprised to see Pat Riley make a change behind the bench.
I agree with you. I don't think Eric Spoelstra really has any of the blame, um, especially with being there for so long, and he's living proof of success with bringing all the championships that Miami has gotten under his tenure, and he's of course very close to Pat Riley. Um, they're not going to get rid of him this year, of course, and I think he's safe for the foreseeable future. Even if next year doesn't go as planned, I still think he's safe just because of his history there and how much success he has helped bring to Miami and to the Heat organization. I It's funny. I kind of think there's of parallels from Pat Riley to Jerry Jones. Um, I don't think Pat is as bad as Jerry Jones. Um,
Well,
However, I think this year has things definitely blew up in Pat Riley's face, and he should probably take a lot of the blame, aside from, of course, like Jimmy's actions and attitude. But I think he should probably take some of the blame too, because some of the stuff he said in the media wasn't right either.
no,
So I think he should
definitely
probably.
kind of threw like gasoline on the fire.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I think he has some of the blame too, but I don't. I don't think Spolstra is in trouble at all.
No, and we talk about Heat culture, which is like, you know, pretty widely known in the NBA sphere.
Yeah.
But I did see a segment from Stephen A. Smith. Like, is heat culture like starting to become like overblown? Like,
No, maybe.
you know, maybe gotta loosen up just a little bit. But yeah, those are the teams that we wanted to focus on for this week. We're going to be, trying to bring some more stuff to the table and try to focus on a couple teams from a certain sport every week.
And
So
let us know why we suck, though. Let us know why we were wrong with
no,
everything we just said.
no, yes, probably. But let us know what you think. We're kind of trying to rework the format a little bit, talk about a little less news, and talk a little bit more discussion based stuff. So let us know if you enjoyed it and if you guys have any thoughts about the Heat, the Celtics, or the Cavs, or any other team. Let us know down in the comments.
Let us know because we would love to communicate with you and maybe highlight somebody in the future. Moving on, though, to the NCAA because March Madness is still going on. Just some quick notes here. UConn, their three-peat's done, people, because they ran into the buzzsaw this year that is the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
It was of course, I didn't watch it because, work. But watching some clips online and everything, it was a very good game, a very close game.
77-75.
Yeah, but the Gators.
UConn almost came back too. I'm pretty sure the Gators were up the first half, so almost got it.
Almost, but UConn is done. No more three-peat for them, but they're one of the best teams in basketball, so I'm pretty sure they'll be back next year. No problem.
Yeah, they will, and we're starting to move into the Sweet 16. Teams have started punching their tickets.
That's right.
So
it's getting good, people.
Yep, we'll be continuing to recap that in future episodes.
On the women's side, though, some terrible news. USC star, and arguably, now that Caitlin Clark is gone, and Angel Reese, the star of women's basketball on the NCAA side, Juju Watkins, tore her ACL, ending her season. USC would go on to win, though, but now the landscape of the women's tournament is changed for good. And can USC continue on without their megastar, Juju Watkins? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a very tough injury to deal with and tough for women's basketball fans as a whole. But we wish her a full and speedy recovery, and she will be back.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully everything is okay, and she will be back and ready to go next year.
That's right. So that's going to do it for basketball. We're going to move on to the NFL. And before
NFL,
we talk about a certain team that we want to focus on, Shay, I have a question for you and the audience.
No.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it. No. Which teams in the NFL that showed promise, maybe had a late season surge or made the playoffs that weren't expected to, one team in particular, can they keep it up for next season and build off of it?
Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go back to back. No, I'm just kidding.
However, I don't know if we've already said this, but I did not know this. The Philadelphia Eagles having just won the Super Bowl, and they have their core locked up through at least 2030, most of them anyway. They have, 19 picks in the next two drafts?
Yeah, we said that, I think, 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember, but that's insane.
They're stacked up, ready to go. But no, aside from the Eagles, I would say a team that showed some promise last season. I would say the Rams. The Rams, especially with the start of their year, turned things around and definitely showed some promise. Now they lost Cooper Kupp, of course. They let him go. So
But they brought in Devontae Adams.
Exactly. So I think they're going to be just fine. Stafford is still Matthew Stafford. He's going to be fantastic. So I would say the Rams should probably be able to build on that success and be a pretty formidable opponent on the NFC side of things. If not, win their division.
Yeah, exactly. They actually came the closest to knocking off the Eagles in the playoffs.
Yep,
Came down to one final drive.
that's right.
So, are you scared? Are you scared yet?
No, I'm still basking in the glory of Super
No.
Bowl championship.
Yeah. For me, I really, really, really want to see uh, the Dolphins finally break through, get into the playoffs and actually go through some kind of run. But at this point, I highly doubt it because they have not shown any sort of promise. Still struggle against teams that are above 500.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think Denver can definitely build on the season that they just had.
Yeah, Bo Nix is for sure their quarterback. For sure a starter in the league.
Yeah, he's the guy. And man, like the first half of the season, there were huge doubts.
Yep.
He was already being labeled a bust, and that defense, I mean, come on. It's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've added a couple more guys, which we will get to. Obviously, Washington, I definitely think will keep it up. And they made some big moves too. So they want to compete and they want to contend for the Super Bowl. And for Detroit, even though it was a disappointing end, they had a lot of injuries, so they'll be back.
Yeah.
What about teams that you think might fall off that might have made the playoffs? The first one for me that comes to mind is the Vikings, just because they moved on from Darnold and are going with J.J. McCarthy, but they still have, Justin Jefferson. They still have Cam Addison, and they have a good defense.
Yeah, and they re-signed Aaron Jones. Brian Flores is coming back as their defensive coordinator. I mean, JJ, this will technically be his second year, but it's going to be his rookie year because he obviously didn't play at all last year due to his injury. So if he has the potential to absolutely be a starter in the league and lead his team to success, but it's yet to be seen. But as long as he's good, I don't think the Vikings are going to fall off. I really don't. I think they're going to be just fine. A team that could fall off. I
Honestly, I might go with the Falcons because if they
they missed the playoffs, so they kind of did already. I would say, if anything, I think they would be primed to bounce back, and I could see the Bucks falling off. Actually, not that Baker sucks or the team sucks, because I don't think they do, but once again in the playoffs, they didn't prove anything. They fell apart. And I don't think they're a team that's going to make a deep playoff run or get to the Super Bowl.
I mean, they didn't really fall apart. I mean, they lost by a field goal, last minute field goal.
Yeah, but they had how many fumbles, how many turnovers in that game? Baker himself turned the ball over like 3 times.
Yeah, it was in obviously the most crucial moment, but I mean, I think the Bucks played pretty well in that game, to be honest, but the Commanders were just the better team.
Yeah, but I don't see them coming back stronger next year.
Okay.
I just don't think so.
All right. I disagree with you, but I think next year people are still going to be sleeping on the Bucks.
It's okay. I'm wrong.
But man, is Dallas going to bounce back though?
No.
We're hoping not. Yeah, but we're going to talk about a team now that had a very disappointing season. But when I tell you this team is the definition of Murphy's Law, it was.
Yep.
Like literally everything that could have gone wrong did.
Yeah.
Of course, I am talking about, you don't know what I'm talking about, the San Francisco 49ers. After, expecting to win their division and contend for the Super Bowl again, they finished last in the NFC West with a record of 6-11. Oof.
Yeah.
Um,
Fall from grace.
yeah, it was pretty bad. How did we get here?
I don't know, Jairus. How did we get here?
Their first 7 games, they only won 3. They lost 4. Then they won 2 in a row. So what? Their record would be 5-7. Not fantastic, but still could be salvaged to make the playoffs. But then they proceeded to lose their last 7 out of 8 en route to a 6-11 record. And that was after obviously a heartbreaking overtime loss in the Super Bowl the previous year
Yeah.
against the Chiefs. Ouch. What's also ouch is all the injuries that they suffered.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Christian McCaffrey out for like 6 or 7 weeks. Came back, injured again. Season done. Dre Greenlaw returned after a torn Achilles, and then only played 4 snaps, and then put him back on the shelf for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Trent Williams was injured. Jason Hargrave was injured.
It's not just injuries of random depth guys. Like these are all key,
all major guys. And Talon Hufanga was also injured for the entire year. As of March 24th, they have 16 players listed on their IR.
Wow.
And a lot of them say questionable for the start of training camp.
Yeah.
So that's not good. Deebo Samuel, between him, McCaffrey, and I believe Ayuk, last year they all scored 40 touchdowns combined. This year, Deebo only had 4, and that was the total.
Yeah.
Between those two guys. Deebo obviously had a very down year. He was traded to the Washington Commanders for a 6th-round pick. So he is gone. The team stats show this. 22.9 points per game, which was 14th overall. But for the defense, because of all the injuries, they had 25.6 points allowed per game, which was 29th in the league. 27. I don't know what that abbreviation is. Or giveaways. Sorry. 27 giveaways. I was thinking of hockey because it said GA, so it was goals allowed.
Gotcha.
So 27 giveaways, which was 27th in the league, and a negative 10 differential. So that's not good. They gave away the ball a lot more than they took away the ball on the defensive side. And they struggled a lot in second halves. Could not close out games, blew leads. The offense and Purdy actually had a decent season, and especially with the lack of targets that Purdy had, basically for most of the year it was him and Kittle was his main target. It really doesn't fall on Purdy or anything, but he is still gunning for a massive extension. He is going to get paid. So what has this led to, Shay?
Well, this team, they got rid of Deebo, but there's still, and I think Greenlaw too. They have a lot of questions, and Brock Purdy has to be at the top because he has to get paid. So, what next? Are we going to just go into a full rebuild? Brock Purdy's rookie contract is up. Those 4 years with him, saving money and paying all these other guys to get to the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl. Didn't work out. I mean, you got to the Super Bowl, obviously, but couldn't win it. Fucking Chiefs. Um, but is this going to be a full rebuild, or is this going to be a retool? I It's hard to say because I honestly think it depends on Christian McCaffrey of all people. He is their offense when he's healthy. He scores every single game. Um, I There's a chance he might not come back because of supposedly how bad his Achilles are. But if he's back and he's healthy and ready to go, then I think it'll just be a little retool and they might bounce back and be fine. But if he's not, I could see alarm bells going off big time and we need to shut everything down and start over.
Out of any team, to be honest, over the last 5 years, I'm very, very surprised that the 49ers have not won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've been one of the best teams in the league, in the NFC.
Yeah.
And what was it, 2020 with all the COVID stuff, their season felt lost. 2022 in the conference championship against the Eagles, they had so many injuries and they fell apart.
Yep.
They lost in overtime in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and they led after the first half.
Yeah.
And then even in 2019, when they first started to contend for the championship, they had a 10-point lead against the Chiefs, and they also lost.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, just brutal.
Yeah, it's
Brutal.
it is brutal.
Their cap space for this season, $42 million. And that's just for this year. You still have to extend Purdy.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
projected cap space for next year without the Purdy extension right now, $58,850,534.
They're in a good cap situation. They have money to spend, but the problem is it's going to go to Brock Purdy, which isn't a problem because he deserves that money. But you're out of the rookie contract. You have to spend money now, and then not spend money. You have to be careful with your money now because you have to pay your quarterback. I, there's no world where you let Brock Purdy go. There's just not.
No.
He proved himself
He is
tenfold.
your guy. He is your guy. And the dead money they have right now after cutting players and letting players go, $77,869,800. That's a lot of money just not being able to be spent.
God damn.
So, yeah, it's not good. Out of players that they let go, they released Javon Hargrave. They released Leonard Floyd. They let go Talanoa Hufanga. As we said, they're starting safety. They let Dre Greenlaw go. They let Aaron Banks go. Travarius Ward, Brandon Allen. So these are all like key starters on especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say right now.
Yes.
I really think we'll have to see how next season starts. Obviously, I feel like if they get off to a rough start and everybody's healthy, maybe they consider making a change at coach.
Yeah, they absolutely could.
Man, Kyle Shanahan just can't get past 20-3.
No.
It's still there. Yeah, and actually this offseason, they've spent the least amount of money.
They got to pay Purdy
while letting go of the most players.
Yeah, that's the problem. They spent so much money on Brock Purdy's contract. Now it's finally caught up to him.
Which is not that wasn't the wrong decision.
No.
When you have a top level quarterback like that on a rookie contract, you have to try and win now.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, it did not work.
So, yeah, let us know what you guys think about the 49ers and let us know which teams you think can bounce back, which teams you think might fall off, who could build off next season. But yeah, the 49ers are in a little bit of a tough spot. They do have a high draft pick. So I believe because they lost so many players on defense, they're probably going to look to add a defensive player.
Yeah, probably.
But stay tuned for that because we have our mock draft 1.0 coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, for some way too early predictions for next season. I think the Bengals are going to bounce back and make the playoffs. They're going to squeak in as a wild card, but I think they will bounce back and make the playoffs. The Jags, I cannot see them making the playoffs, but I like the direction the management is going, and they seem like they have a plan. And they've made it clear that they want Trevor Lawrence to have a voice, and he's going to have a say in like who they draft and like who he thinks he wants on the team, which I think is great because it is his team, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
So, but yeah, I don't see him making the playoffs, but I do think they will be better than they were last year. I don't think by a lot, but yeah, we'll see. And for the Eagles, probably going to go back to back, right?
I have some serious questions about the Bengals and their defense. Of course, their offense is going to be fine unless Higgins gets hurt again. But you just you run into one good defense, and that slows down your offense enough, and then you don't have your own defense. You're going to lose. Defense wins championships, not offense. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but I just have serious concerns about the Bengals' lack of doing anything on the defensive side of the ball.
No, I get it. You just don't like the Bengals.
So I think they should make the playoffs, but I would not be surprised if they once again miss it. The Jags, I think they will improve. Pretty much the same thing as you. They're not going to make the playoffs either, I don't think, but they'll improve and take a step in the right direction. But this is definitely a year for Trevor Lawrence. Like, you need to have a good year.
For me, this is the last year.
You don't have a choice.
If not, then we're done.
Yeah. The Eagles, I think, will be just fine. We lost a lot of defensive pieces, but I think we'll be just fine. Vic Fangio's coming back as DC. He's defensive savant. I mean,
you literally turned Zach Bond into a Pro Bowler and a 3-year, $51 million extension.
Exactly.
So.
We have all those draft picks, so we could use them all or make a big splash. You don't know. So I think we'll be just fine and have a really good chance of going back to back. But that will do it for the NFL because now we're going to move on to baseball real quick. It is, as we said earlier, as of this recording, when you are listening to our beautiful, gorgeous voices that are just serenading those 6 inches in between your ears. See, not even serenading your ears, serenading your brain. That's what we're doing here. Yeah, it'll be opening day. The Red Sox opened the season with a 4-game series at the Texas Rangers. The Rays, they don't play till Friday, with a 3-game series at their temporary home against the Colorado Rockies at the Yankees spring training facility, which is currently being changed to all the Rays stuff and still is not sold out for opening day.
Wouldn't it be just absolutely hilarious if the Rays open their season being swept by the Rockies?
That would be very funny. Not for the players. I still feel really awful for the players and the coaching staff and all that. But yeah, what do you think? Predictions here to open up the year, opening series. How do you think your 3 games are going to go? You think you're going to get swept? Like, genuinely, you think you're going to go 1-2, or what's going on?
No, I think we could win 2 out of 3. I mean, it's the Rockies. Let's be real. Yeah, we'll either win 2 out of 3 or sweep it. I definitely can see. I don't know like how well we did in spring training, but obviously spring training doesn't matter that much.
Out of all the sports in their pre-seasons, spring training matters the least when compared to the regular season.
Yeah, but as for the Rays season as a whole, I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if we finished last in our division. Look out for our MLB standings predictions video. That's going to be coming out here in the next couple days. Disclaimer, I do not know a lot about baseball, so I kind of rolled the dice, but I am freaking excited to watch some games this year and to get into baseball a little bit more. And let's fucking go. It's opening day, people.
That's right. The Red Sox, I think, will split the series against the Rangers, go 2-2. I think I want to. I would love, to see a hot start, obviously, and sweep the Rangers. But I want to be realistic. I think we'll have a bumpy start. I really do. So I think we'll go 2-2 to start the year. But that's okay. That's only 4 games out of 158 more to go. So, but I think we will surprise people and make the playoffs. How deep we go, don't ask me. I have no idea. But I am cautiously optimistic for the Red Sox this year.
Yeah, you did say the Red Sox have a really, really good prospect pool, right?
Yeah, just, number 1 in baseball. Their farm system is the best in baseball. We have 2 of the top 5 prospects in all of baseball in our farm system in AAA. So the future looks pretty good. One of them is expected to get called up sometime this year, make his MLB debut, so that'll be exciting at some point. But our future's good. I think we should be better this year because our pitching, we made a lot of moves to make our pitching better, but we'll see. Like I said, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. So that's going to do it. We're going to take our break here, though, so don't go anywhere. We will be back very soon.
Don't leave.
Nope, don't leave, please. Please keep listening. But yeah, we will be back in a moment, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. After that brief break, we got breaking news.
Oh, shit.
The Tampa Bay Rays, as of 1 hour ago, finally sold out for opening day. Let's go. We're winning the World Series this year.
Good.
Yeah, right.
Good job. You sold out opening day in an 11,000 seat stadium 3 days before opening day. Woo.
After everybody else.
Woo!
Yeah. So
what a joke.
No, that's not like the actual breaking news. But we got some more breaking news. First off, Russell Wilson is going to be playing football next year. He signs a 1-year, $10.5 million deal, though, with the New York Giants. Okay.
I mean, hey, wants to keep playing football, obviously. So keep doing the thing you love to do, but I don't foresee any winning in your future.
No, I don't foresee any playoffs in your future.
Again.
But he already has the Super Bowl with Seattle, so
yeah,
he's not that concerned with winning. But good for Russell Wilson. He gets to play for another year, and we'll see how he does.
At least he has Malik Neighbors.
That's right. But there's some more breaking news. This is really big. Patriots are to sign wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million deal. They pick up Diggs after missing out on Bucs' Chris Godwin.
Yeah, and Diggs is returning back to the AFC East, and that means he will be going back to Buffalo.
On the other side.
Yeah, this this is a big pickup for the Patriots. I think this is only a positive, really, unless of course he gets injured, but this is only a positive. This is going to help Drake May tremendously, have a very reliable top 10 receiver for him. Hopefully he rebounds after his injury last year that sidelined him for the majority of the season. But if he's good to go, this will only help Drake May and the Patriots.
Yeah, so with this Texas letting go Stephon Diggs, just real quick, I have a little bit concerns. Like, I'm kind of surprised they didn't bring Diggs back because, as we all know, Tank Dell suffered that horrendous injury.
Yeah.
So there's even still questions like, is he even going to be able to play again? They did trade, obviously, for Christian Kirk, and they still have Nico Collins, who's shown he's going to be a great receiver. But yeah, what do you think? Was this the right move in letting him go? Maybe he was asking for too much money.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. I didn't know he was going to be a free agent after this year. Shame on me. So I'm pretty shocked that he wasn't re-signed. But clearly the Texans and him just couldn't come to some sort of agreement, or the Texans just felt like, hey, we're going to move on. But he gets a new lease on his career thanks to, sorry, excuse me, thanks to the Patriots. And like I said, this is only going to help New England, Vrabel, and Drake May. So this is a very good pickup.
Moving on after that, breaking news. We're going to move on to the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League. If you have not seen a PWHL game yet, please go watch it.
Go see it.
It is great quality hockey. But we're going to take a look at the standings and the current playoff picture. There's not a lot of games left. Oh, look at that right now. Ottawa Charge and New York Sirens are playing right now. 1-0 Ottawa. Anyways.
Wow.
In first still is the Montreal Victoire. Love that name. Love the logo. They have 45 points, 25 games played. They are 10-6, 3-6. If you don't remember, 3-2-1-0 point system. So that is 10 wins, 6 overtime wins, 3 overtime losses, and 6 regulation losses. And second are the Toronto Scepters, 42 points in 25 games played with a record of 11-5-7. The Boston Fleet, love that logo as well, and the colors in 24 games played after having a middling start to the season. They've bounced back.
Yep.
They are now at 40 points with a record of 8-6-4-6. And the Frost still hanging in there, but after having a good start, they have been trending in the wrong direction. In 25 games played, they have 35 points with a record of 7-5-4-9. But that's where the playoff line is drawn. The top 4 teams make it, so they are still there. But not far behind is the Ottawa Charge. In 24 games played, they have 33 points, so only 2 points back of a playoff spot, with a record of 9-1-4-10. And the New York Sirens, after finishing last in the league last year, they are still last this year. In 25 games played, they have 27 points with a record of 5-4-4-12. So they have the most regulation losses of anyone else in the league. And, they would hold the number 1 draft pick for the second year in a row.
Yeah, clearly something didn't work over the offseason because they are still right at the bottom of the barrel. One would say the bottom of the Hudson River. Anyway, the Fleet have turned that ship around.
My God, you're so fucking
Yeah, and we're gonna get back to the playoffs. Hopefully, get back to the finals and win. But that's yet to be seen.
Let it please be a rematch of Boston, Minnesota, because
Minnesota,
that was for a first year finals.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic.
It was, but Minnesota's not looking good.
Yep, they're hanging in there, but they definitely need to pick up the play if they're going to keep up their title defense.
Correct.
So that's going to do it for the PWHL. We'll continue to recap that as the playoffs roll around, as with every other sport. But we're going to move on to NASCAR.
Turn left.
Break 'em, John.
Yep. NASCAR was in Miami this weekend, Homestead Miami Speedway, and Kyle Larson finally won this year. 30th career Cup Series win. He is
Awesome.
the 60th driver to get 30 wins, I believe.
Man,
But
great career so far.
it's still very young, and he has the potential to really even maybe get up to Jeff Gordon numbers and become second overall, which would be wild.
Yeah, on pace.
Yeah.
Sure.
So finally won this year though, so he is secured for a spot in the playoffs so far. He was close to a weekend sweep, winning the Craftsman Truck Series and finishing fourth in the Xfinity Series. And then, of course, winning in Miami. Alex Bowman almost won after starting on pole, but he finished second. And he even said after the race, I just saw the guy behind me in the mirror, which is Kyle Larson, his teammate and good friend. And the pressure just got to me. But we'll run it back next week, and I'll get him this time. So I like to see good sportsmanship, good competition, especially between teammates. So they obviously have a really good relationship, nothing but respect. So that was really nice to hear, and good for Alex to get second. He's way he's been going this year too. He is due for a win, and next week's race, or I guess this week's now, is at Martinsville, the paperclip.
The short track.
Yep.
First short track right of the season.
Yes.
I love short tracks. Short tracks are one of my favorite styles of race. Just constantly, slowing down, speeding up. You got to have just so much precision.
Yeah.
At a short track to win. For NASCAR, they've had a really good start to the season. I believe when I looked at the ratings, they are up from last year,
which is good because last year was up from the year prior. So
I think they're starting, trend a little bit upward. They obviously have gotten their new TV deals.
Yep.
So they're starting raking the money. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watch the rest of the season. It's been great so far, and congrats to Kyle Larson on his first win of the year.
That's right. As we said, secured for the playoffs. So he will be trying to get back to Phoenix for a third straight year, just to fall short again. No, I hope he doesn't. I would love to see him win again, or, like I said, William Byron win. But
now, did he win the championship before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But that's going to do it. We're done. Oh, wait. That's it for sports.
Oh, because what else do we have to talk about besides sports? I don't know.
Do we talk about business here or politics?
Oh yeah, let me get on my clipboard. Like, how can you relieve your debt? No, I should take that class because I have credit card debt myself.
Huh.
But no, we're gonna get out to Marvel, obviously, because Daredevil Born Again is still going on, and Shay watched episode 4. Yes. I had watched it a week ago.
Yep.
But
I was able to catch up.
He did not have time.
Correct. I was able to catch up. And as we're talking, episode 5 will be coming out. So we'll be a week behind, but that is okay.
That's just how the podcast schedule.
That's right. But episode 4, in my personal opinion, was the best episode so far, even though there was no action. Very emotional, very story driven. But I really think it is building up for something bad to happen.
Yeah, as I said last week, I thought the start of the show, it's been very, very slow, but it's not like boring to me. Like,
excuse the dogs.
Sorry about that. But yeah, you can tell that shit's about to hit the fan.
Yeah, exactly. Um, we finally do get to see Frank Castle and the Punisher. John Berthal coming back to play the Punisher. Who perfect casting, perfect casting. Um, they had a really good dialogue between each other, and oh, it was emotional. It it hit you right in the feels for sure. I teared up when Frank was talking to Murdoch, like, why don't you say his name? Just say his name. And Matt Murdock just would not say his name because he didn't want to admit that this is all about Foggy.
Yeah, he's definitely buried some that trauma just deep inside and has locked it up with a key and a lock. And I think we're getting pretty close to that all just exploding.
Yeah, exactly. It got to a point where Murdoch punched Frank Castle in the face and apologized right away. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Frank was like, what are you apologizing for, Red? You need to let it out, basically. And now, how Frank Castle lets his violence and aggression out is obviously not okay because he kills people. That's why he's an anti hero. But I think Matt Murdock is realizing or starting to realize that, or at least he will in this newest episode, that Frank Castle's right. He can't just keep suppressing this other side of him because it's eating him alive. And oh, it's just going to boil over, and he's really going to hurt somebody if he doesn't let it out.
Yeah, he decided he's going to put all his faith in the system. And after clearing White Tiger's name,
Yes.
what happens literally almost right after he gets shot and killed by one of, who is it, the mayor?
Well, no, so it was a cop, but the Punisher said it was some Punisher psycho fan club or whatever that's going on. Like it's not like
Oh,
he's
okay,
not
yeah,
endorsing what
yeah,
they're
yeah,
doing. It's he has nothing to do with it.
yeah. But clearly, the system is broken, and it is not doing its job in keeping crime down, keeping these criminals off the streets. So maybe a certain superhero or anti-hero needs to come back out and deliver justice.
Yeah, exactly. We also saw the Kingpin continue to struggle keeping his criminal side at bay. He was had to do some mayor duties and go sit at an elementary school and have the kids sing to him, and he made it through one song and couldn't do any more. Had to walk out. News broke that, or not good news broke with the Kingpin, that something was going on with like trash, from what I remember. Excuse me, and he almost flipped out before the staffer came forward and said it was him, and the Kingpin said, "I'm not going to fire you. We all learn from our mistakes, but I need your undying loyalty," basically. And a little creepy. The staffer was just with him the entire time, saying, "Yes, yes, sir, I'm with you until the end. You have everything you need from me. You have my heart and my soul." Like, okay, bro. Like,
Weird. Like, sure you don't have any Kingpin posters at home
yeah,
or
yeah,
a
yeah,
secret room that you visit.
yeah. Little.
We don't want to know what you do in
No,
that
no,
room.
no. Little creepy. Um, but then also we got to see more of the therapy sessions with his wife and Daredevil's girlfriend as the therapist.
I feel like, by the way, I feel like that is gonna like come back to bite him
I agree.
somehow.
I agree. As it probably will. Um, things are still not doing. Things are still not well between the Kingpin and his wife. Um, they don't. He, at least so far, seems that she is the love of his life, and he only wants to do right by her, and he wants to change for her and everything. But she has become her own independent woman after he left at the end of the Hawkeye series. Um, and she doesn't know if she wants to go back to how things were because she was doing just fine by herself. And that took place all in front of the therapist. And Matt Murdock came home after seeing a new client, and he was Murdock was kind of a dick to the client. I'll admit, saying you should be happy. I only got you like 10 days of jail time or whatever, and the guy was pressing to have just probation, and he has a long criminal record, and he broke his probation before, so they were leading you to not feel sorry for the guy until boom, another emotional talk, an emotional moment where the guy just laid into Matt Murdock saying, "Hey, I miss my food stamps when I am in jail. I miss my last probation hearing because I was in jail," or all this stuff that was really emotional and just kind of reminded Matt Murdock that yeah, the system isn't what it's supposed to be. And you leaving it to the system maybe isn't the answer.
Right. So what does he do when he gets home?
Well, he, meets his new girlfriend and they talk for a little bit and they have a little kissy kissy, mwah, mwah, mwah. After though, it cuts to his girlfriend sleeping in the bed, him being wide awake. And he gets changed. And they're also paralleling the Kingpin with this too. He's wide awake getting changed. Daredevil goes up to the roof of his apartment. He has this secret cave thing, secret closet, whatever, that has all his uniforms. Look, look good. Gets out his batons, starts practicing, just like he did in the Netflix series. Oh, he's coming back. On the flip side, the Kingpin goes down to somewhere and he starts having a dinner and you realize that he is holding captive and beating the shit out of Vanessa's lover affair, Adam, and then it ends.
What a way to end the episode. Just, oh my God, you can just feel the tension
A
at an
lot of tension.
all-time high.
They're definitely setting up for shit to get real.
Yeah, really. But yeah, any like thoughts on the next episode? Like, what you think is gonna happen? Is there gonna be like a huge fight, or is Matt Murdock gonna say, you know what, like, nope, I'm not doing this again, and maybe he puts it away for a little bit? What do you think is gonna happen?
No, well, based off of trailer footage for the rest of the season, Frank Castle he shaves himself and gets a haircut, and he comes back as the Punisher, and it looks like him and Daredevil work together doing something, serving out some justice. When that is, I don't know. I hope it's the next episode. I want to see it already. But no, I think there's no turning back. It's going to boil over. Daredevil is going to be back by, if not next episode, by at least the second to last episode or the last episode of the season. And it's all going to come to a head because everything going on with the Kingpin too. And then it's going to leave on a cliffhanger, as it probably should. But I wouldn't be surprised if this somehow, maybe not directly, but indirectly leads into the Thunderbolts movie because that also takes place in New York City.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see, but I'm really excited to see how the rest of the series plays out. Um, yeah, and I'm really excited for the Thunderbolts too, which is not too far away. The next movie after Captain America: Brave New World.
That's
So,
right.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to the entire thing, and if you're still with us, make sure to hit that like button to support the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content. Remember, it's the big red button right below,
Yep, that one.
low to the right.
You're
No,
going there.
Yep. There you go. Thank you so much for that. And make sure to comment down any of your thoughts on what we talked about today. And make sure to follow our socials to keep up with new news, new updates, which will be linked in the description below. And with that, we will see y'all in the next one. Peace.